Hear me out. This is this is So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder. Today is Sunday, June the 30th. We already halfway through this year. And man, I can only talk about the things that have been good to me, which I've been doing for the past couple weeks. But today I got a special guest for y'all, man. I talked about him, I think in the last two episodes ago. I brought him up about the brother who gave me a name, called me a name. I felt like he called me a name. But anyways, I'm gonna let him introduce himself. A little bit of history on us, man. We met, man, and met on a frequency where understanding was had and didn't need to be explained, and we just let it flow. And the crazy part about it is, man, how we met, and then the pictures that we took, man, that shit was crazy. We was dressed alike, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
we was on the same shit. So without further ado, man, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, thank you so much to have me on this show. You know, Mr. Thunder himself. He said to me, if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. And that was a great, phrasing to have for somebody that I met, such as himself. Um, we met. My name is Tim, Tim Mason, by the way, and we met in a great energy of matrimony between mutual friends of ours.
Right.
Great couple, wonderful couple. We got to give it up for Mike and Lena because they were, a great energy to have between, all of the companies and parties that were in Cabo, Mexico.
Yeah.
Uh, Man, and that was a beautiful experience to have. So, you know, it's such a great honor to be part of this prestigious platform that I think you have, and to, be joined at the hip with knowledge out the frame, man, because I know you have quite a bit of detail in the information that you share.
Yeah.
And glad that we have that universal connection in the way that we dial together. Is a place that, I'm sure many other people got good memory like we do in
Mm.
that space. And
Yeah.
you know, it's good energy to be here, man.
Yeah, man. Like I said, we had conversations, man, where I just was walking in my purpose of being, obedient to the last commandment and being fishermen of men. And I think that, it's funny how things happen by the ocean when it
Man,
comes time, when it comes time. So that's a beautiful thing. But with that being said, man, we had a lot of deep conversations and realized that, we need to definitely keep in contact some kind of way, but our way, right? Not the way people would perceive it to be. So here we are, man. You on here, and man, I just want to thank you for coming. For y'all who are just now listening to this, man, welcome. Somehow you made it. I'm glad you made it. Somebody was talking about it, right? Because that's what it's meant to be. And for those of you who have been on this journey since the beginning, understand it ain't about me. It's about you. So I'm just trying to gather an audio encyclopedia of wisdom, and I want to make sure that I see counsel with the right people who are able to elevate me on the wavelength to where when I tune in, I understand and I don't need to change the channel. So with that being said, my brother, have you listened to the podcast and what you think?
oh man, have I? Yes, man. You had a couple of episodes that took me. The last one when we talked about the griot. You you took me by storm with that one, just elaborating on that conversation because that conversation came from us. We were talking, uh, and I remember you saying that there was another person in parallel to the name that I had, Mason being that name, and they may have been that family name as well. And you was navigating a lot in that scenario, talking about Jesus and his disciples and how, you know, everybody got a point of reference,
Yeah.
to be honest, what I took away from it. And previous episodes, even outside of that, I was pretty too. So yeah, I'm following the material, man, for sure.
Dope. That's dope, man. I appreciate that, man. More than you know, man. A lot of these conversations happen behind closed doors. And
Man.
to make
Yeah.
sure it's it's received is one of the greatest things to be able to say something so clear and
Yeah.
so concise that only the people that need to hear it listen. And the people who don't know what they're talking about, be quiet. and you don't have to request respect because it's already expected. So,
Right.
man,
Yep.
we was talking, right? And talking about getting you on here and what that looked like for you. And you talking about, in your notebook that you got right there. I see you going through. Tell us a little bit about this notebook, man. What you got going on?
Um, it's a reference for me to be able to make sure I get every moment that I share with people like you in some form of memory, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And what I mean is, impact is forever.
Hmm.
It's forever. And you always have a good impact when you can put many different layers on your way of developing a memories, pattern. That's what my notebook does that for.
That's dope. That's dope. Like I got one too, man. I don't write
Yeah,
too. I just write acronyms in here, man, because they're. I'm like
yeah,
little. All my lyrics is up here. All my everything here. That's why I had to record it. But yeah, man. So we was talking about, man, building a legacy. That was one of the things we talked about. When we was chopping it up these last couple times. Anybody that's been following me, or if you know me personally, I'm very proud of my kids and what I've been able to accomplish on the level of understanding and in my path and walking in my purpose. But for you you started a little bit later than I did. My kids are grown, and you're raising young, what I'm saying, young kings and queens. So tell me a little bit about that, man.
man, it's just amazing to have a beautiful family that I have. And first, shout out to you because I see how you are nurturing your family to the utmost, degree. Your wife is doing an amazing job in bodybuilding and structuring and scoping and being healthy.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
man,
and I don't
you
even
see,
feel bad for not being in shape. I don't even care.
I
I did that shit already. I'm good.
feel, I feel you. But
Yeah,
I think that's it's still an honor to see you in a position of influence, the way that you are with your family. I take note of that.
yeah. And you know what's
Like,
crazy about that part? Yeah, check this out. What's crazy about that part is I tried to force my wisdom on her early, and it wasn't received well. But what I ended up doing and forcing it, I pushed the seed so deep down that now that it's doing what it's doing, I could just sit back and be like, "Yep, yeah, I know." You know what I'm saying? That's cool.
so is that manifestation? Is that what you did?
Uh, I I guess you could say that. I don't look at it as that because what it what it manifested is not what I had envisioned. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just kind of look at it as, that's a part of my crop, and I had a seed that I didn't know what it was gonna do. So I ain't really
Okay,
got expectation. That's the thing. The expectation was in the moment, right? So I
that's
want
a
you
lot of
to be right then and there. But I've been
yeah,
that's kind of the wavelength I've been on, and that's been allowing me to receive a lot of understanding. Um,
yeah.
so with that understanding, I understand that with this legacy, you have something that you do annually that you share with your family. Tell me a little bit about that.
Just a conscious pattern.
Mhm,
Okay, just in order for you to understand that impact is forever, you have to be able to follow a certain pattern sequence for your algorithmic life. And my children, the way to identify thinking and also understand their feelings along with decision making, you know.
mhm,
So I believe that my time right now is just to be a great influence on uh to continue a certain legacy point with them. And I say a point because there's only so much that each lifespan can do, right?
mhm.
And I think that children are learning to understand how to scale time. When they scale time, they are able to understand there's a decision making process and pattern and result that has to happen. So I teach them a lot of that type of, delivery.
Right. So one of the key things in making any decision is the method of measurement, right? Um, and that's what you describe as a scale, right? Okay, that's dope, man. I've never
Yeah,
even thought about it like that. I've thought more of like weight, you know what I'm saying? But then again, it's the same thing. Weight and influence is the same thing, right?
thing.
That's dope. So with that being said, man, so you how long you been doing this?
Uh, I have grown to the understanding, and again, I'm gonna just make sure I give a disclaimer. Information must always be updated. Okay, always. So I'm going to give you my reference of my memory in regards to my consciousness at that time,
Right,
and I
right.
believe high school was the time frame that I understood a sense of consciousness and behavior to where I can actually start projecting myself in a higher light. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And light is seeking something that's always a high aspiration. And I felt as if the high school time period allowed me to see certain things from like in a navigating way. You know what I mean? Tattoos kind of reference navigation and time and uh, and decision making. So Father Time Arm right here.
All right. That's cool. So you identified a tool to allow you to keep track of the scale, right, that you're using to create this legacy, right? That's,
Yeah,
that's how you put it together. So when you present this, right? So you all right, so let's just fast forward, right? It comes to you, you said it takes about how long for you to receive the message.
give or take. I mean, it's annual accountability. You know, it's annual accountability. You got to have annual accountability, and you got to have uh, daily personal conviction. You know, if you don't have those
Elaborate on
measurements,
daily conviction.
okay, daily personal conviction. If you, when you wake up, that being inside of you, folks will say God, folks will say spirit. You know,
Mm.
it's gonna give the awakening to understand it's time to rise. Rise, you got to make decisions. You got to brush your teeth if you want to stay healthy. You got to, you know, make sure you have the right type of attire before you walk out the house so you can get judged properly. So, you know, the personal conviction is you walking within self to know that you want to be identified in a well-rounded manner. I would personally have that as an association
So if
in
we
my personal.
so if we were to say for you, right? For Timothy Mason, right? Are you the senior? I can't remember. Is your son a junior?
Um, my dad is Tim Mason, but I'm not a junior.
Okay, I get it. I understand. Either way, you the first one, is what I'm saying. Okay, cool. All right. With that being said, right? So I guess when you look at yourself, right, and you're having that moment of clarity where you've already got your self reflection and you're getting ready to make a decision, which is part of the process or the format, as I call it. What do you
Yeah.
say to yourself in that moment, right? Let's just use your most recent aha moment. What did you say to yourself?
Uh, the actual words spoken didn't get revealed to me as far as what I like as you saying, what did I say to myself?
Yeah,
I said to somebody else first before it resonated with me.
yeah,
Does
yeah.
that make sense?
No,
I
I
was
get it.
able, you know what I mean? When
I
you
get
give
it.
it, you articulate and are able to formulate a certain pathway of thinking to give to somebody, it'll
Mhm.
start convicting yourself
Yeah,
as you, because that's how therapy kind of is. Therapy is kind of like that.
yeah. So
It's just
you
change.
right? You hit
Man,
it.
we'll go deep in this.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, right? Remember, I told you you're gonna want to go down this rabbit hole, but the beauty in it is we've talked about this, man, to the point of no understanding because it's just too much. So we got to do it in doses, right? So we got to get it in doses. So the dose that we want to get right now today is you recognized um, a unit of measurement by scale, right? Which forces you to not only understand the influence but the weight, You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to determine the outcome of what you put together. But the moment you put it all together is the moment where you say, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. For me,
Mhm.
I'm just going to use me and as an example. For me, when I can't talk myself out of it, then that's when it's time to do it. You know what I'm saying? When I stop listening to myself. So when you say the words didn't manifest, for me is when I couldn't manifest any words. So when anybody asked me what did I say to myself when it was time to do it, what it'd be nothing. Because you did
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool, man. So this notebook that you keep your annual accountability, right? Do you have a title for it? Does is the book is it the name for the book or there's no book?
I have titles for a lot of different things, man. I do, and I actually am creating a memoir. Right? If I'm gonna say it right, I'm in the process of doing some writing myself, and
Right.
uh, you
Tim,
know this.
Tim, hold on one second. You say you have names for a lot of things.
Yeah,
What's the name for the notebook in your
I
home?
know, I
Yeah,
know,
I just want to know the name. What you call it? If you
but
tell your kid to go get it.
I don't have one just yet. So that's what I'm
Ah,
figuring out.
okay. All right. That's what's up. That's what's up. So, with that being said, if you were to give today's just concentrated dose of wisdom, what would you call it?
Mm, that's a good one. I
Uh,
think.
so let me give it to you another way. So, if you were given an assignment to do this podcast and then do a presentation on what you got out of it, what would be the first slide?
Uh, Constant consciousness,
Constant consciousness. Elaborate.
because everything we're navigating is about how we measure all of the details that we speak on, from your version of interpretation and my version of interpretation to the listeners that are listening right now, and hopefully will subscribe, like, and share all of the content that you see. You know, we're constantly in a balancing act of, am I interested? Should I buy in? You know, we're just juggling a lot of different emotions in the process. So I think you got to always be conscious in yourself and how you develop and scale your life.
Yeah. That's dope, man. Constant consciousness. You heard it right here, man. Tim Mason, constant consciousness. Because if you're not conscious consistently, then your weight of measure will become off and then the scales will tip not in your favor. And we need favor in this world where everything is crazy. So don't fall asleep on it, man. Doug, I appreciate you for coming on, man. I like how it turned out. I told you. I told you. You
Yeah,
didn't that was you didn't know that's what you was gonna talk about.
good vibe, man.
It,
Great vibe.
um, but that's the beauty in it, right? I think the best part of it is you've given somebody a visual. Like you said, it took you to hear from somebody else to do it, right? And I have an episode where I talk about it. Sometimes you gotta hear from somebody else. That's the beauty in seeking counsel. I explain this to my kids about how you select when you become the king of your castle. Every king has a round table council. You have to understand where people's positions are in your life, and
Mm-hmm.
when it's time to seek counsel. But understand that you are the one who makes the final decision. Because if you're not constantly conscious, then you'll never know because you'll never do. But if you're constantly conscious, you'll know because you did it. And you
Exactly.
don't know until you do. This has been So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder. This is Tim Mason on here. Tim, I'm gonna let you go ahead, man, and give the people what they want. And that's what you need them to hear. So tell them about you, man, how they can reach out to you. The backyard hustle. Definitely gotta throw that in there. Um, and whatever else you'd like to share, man, because we definitely gonna have you back on here, my brother. The floor is
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you guys. I'm on most of platforms. I'm on Instagram, Too Cool Timmy. That is TOOQOOL Timmy. And also you can reach me on Facebook. Tim Mason. I ain't too hard to find. Everything is nice with me. Keep it copacetic.
That's what's up, man. Again, I appreciate you for coming on here, man. And I always say, man, if you got something to say, make sure you can come to me with 10 minutes of your best. But be ready to tell the truth because you can't lie to me, man. Because the spirit that's upon me is one of understanding, and that's called the Issachar anointing, which means I know what time it is. So with that being said, go ahead and follow the Instagram page. So says Mr. Thunder. Make sure you go ahead and follow Timmy Too Cool's page. You know what I'm saying? The nigga is too cool. I can't say it enough. Um, but yeah, man, I'm always impressed with the next step, man. And the next step is always the best one because it elevates you out of any hole that you've dug in yourself. So with that being said, man, um, we're gonna have you on here again, bro. We're gonna have you on here again.
Wait, I gotta have more to talk to you about. I got the CM Logistics over here, CM Solutions. That's a logistic line, of course. To
Yeah.
I forgot, and Timeless Tapers. Got all of that. So
Yeah. Hey man, share whatever you would like people to know, man. Like I said, the floor is yours. Unless you ain't got nothing else.
I'm good right now,
All
bro.
right, bet. If they want to know more, you've already given them too much information. But information is what drives you. So make sure you fill up your tank with information. And again, go ahead and like the Instagram page, so says Mr. Thunder. Follow the YouTube page, so says Mr. Thunder. And I can be found on all platforms. As I can tell you, and I can tell you now, this is what a Native American looks like. I'm a Native American of this country, and there ain't a damn thing you could do about it. And until next time, I'll holler at you.